Good to see you, and I thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. Many of you, since early this morning, we've been giving you updates, of course, on the AccuWeather channel during the overnight. But, of course, at 8 o'clock, starting this morning, top and bottom of the hour, we've been giving you updates. And I appreciate all the emails, the folks, you guys, that are just hanging in there watching. Many folks are going out shopping, coming back, checking our forecasts, going back out. But they're kind of doing it around our updates on the hour and on the half hour. And even some reports, I was talking to someone on the phone who are getting updates even on the road. They're going into the malls and turning on channel 69 and getting the updates, watching us because they know we're on the hour and on the half hours, giving you the freshest, very latest nowcasts. That's what I like to call it here because that's what we're doing. And why are we doing this really beefed up reporting? Of course, we'd always going to give you the freshest weather updates and reports, but it would be normally one of us, one of our team of meteorologists, one of us kind of giving you updates. But we got traffic reporters in. We've got reporters out in the field, and we've been doing that since 8 o'clock. And I want to thank not only the folks that are out there doing that, but, of course, all of our photographers, our producers, directors that have come on in, sound engineers. So they've come all in here on their Saturday, the Saturday before Christmas, to provide you. We said, this is the Saturday before Christmas. You guys got a lot going on. You got business you want to take care of. We want to make sure you have the freshest information. That's why we're here, taking time out for you. And so we're going to be here giving you these updates right until 5 o'clock. Top of the hour, more comprehensive report with all of our reporters. Bottom of the hour, a little more abbreviated, keeping an eye on that Doppler radar and the current conditions. First, take a look at temperatures throughout the region. Very cold. Winter storm warning in effect till tomorrow morning. You factor in these winds, and those winds are going to intensify. I've been saying it all day long. We've got wind chills either in the single digits or teens. So if you're heading out shopping, you're going to be outside for any extended period of time, please dress warmly. You are absolutely going to need it. And as far as the dew points right now, they've jumped, finally seeing where that dry air has been hanging tough. Many parts of our area to the east, south, and west, we've seen snow, in some cases as early as 5 a.m. But good part of the Lehigh Valley on into the Poconos, it's just been stubborn. I mean, and I've been explaining it all morning, what's going on. It's just like it hit a brick wall, and I had the chance to update you on that at 10 o'clock last night. The model said, hold on a second, that snow will progress to a certain point in it. It's just going to run into that dry air, and it's going to have a hard time to moisten that atmosphere up because the air was so bone dry. Well, guess what? Things have finally moistened up. We're seeing the snow pretty much overspreading the entire viewing area. In the meantime, our southern tier counties have already picked up, in some cases, 2, 3, 4 inches of snow. The rest of us just getting going right now as we speak. Let's start out with some of our reporters and give you some of the information that we've got. I want to start out with Melissa, I believe, Fullerton. She's been standing by giving us update. Melissa, we continue to watch now. It seems like that transfer that I told you about from that storm over to the coast has now occurred. The pressures are dropping off the coast as that storm is now pulling up off the eastern seaboard. And now we're going to be looking at probably, I think, starting a little bit, maybe about 3 o'clock until about midnight. We're going to be talking about an 6 to 9 hour event where we'll be talking about snow at varying rates. In some cases, heavy, throw in some winds, 20, 30 miles an hour. Gusts could exceed 40. It's going to be windswept and at times may feel blizzard-like. It's going to be pretty nasty out there. But tell us what you've experienced so far this morning and what it looks like out there right now.
Well, right now, Ed, it's kind of the lightest snow that we've seen all day here. Just some flurries. I don't know if that's the right technical term, but very light snow coming down right now. And actually, I'm going to take you over here to 422. We've been here all morning where Business 422 meets the West Shore bypass, and the road has actually cleared up a little bit. The crews have been out. We heard them drop their plows, and they were moving some of the slush and snow that had accumulated there over the day. So the road conditions from where we stand look like they're actually getting a little better as the snow has slowed down here in Berks County. But like Ed was saying, this is not going to last. So don't get too confident if you're out there driving. There are still slick spots. I've heard the secondary roads are not all touched at this point and may not be touched as the crews try and keep up with this storm. We've been here in the parking lot of Exeter Commons all morning, and now that the snow has slowed down, we're seeing more people start to come in. People may be trying to, waiting for that break, I should say, in this storm to come out and do some of that shopping they've been waiting to do or procrastinating to do. That's okay. We don't mind. So the traffic around here is starting to pick up a little bit. And I have to tell you, Ed, you were talking about, people being able to check us out on the road. We were just in the Red Robin, and they were gracious hosts to us today. And people were watching your updates while we were in there, including in the bathroom. So they have TVs everywhere in there. They're able to keep an eye on us and see how things are going. It is very cold. It is very windy. So if you are coming out, you're going to want to bundle up. But right now, it's starting to snow a little harder, so maybe it's making a liar out of me. It's very back and forth today, but probably the lightest snow we've seen all day right now. But like Ed's been saying, we're expecting that to pick up a little later. So Ed, we're going to send it back to you in the studio for now, and we'll check back in a little bit.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's that transfer from the kind of the one to the main now storm off the coast. I think that's why we're seeing that break even in Berks County, as that moisture is going to start to be thrown back from the Atlantic back our way. Dew points in the area you can obviously see. Take a look 24 hours ago, and as this storm's lifted up and into the area, it's just fought so hard to cut through that dry air. And we've had virga. That means it's been snowing aloft for hours. It's just in the northern tier counties. Look at that, even breaks. It's just taken so long. But look at these darker shades of blue, and that's what we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on. It's going to start to come down pretty hard, and I think that's we're going to be talking about like places like Dover, Delaware, where it snowed for 9 hours now. They're up to 9 inches of snow, so an inch per hour. It's what we could be dealing with here. And so we're going to have to keep a very close, watchful eye on all of this. Traffic, let's talk about that. Of course, the tale of almost 2 lands. That's what it feels like because, again, southern tier counties have had snow throughout the morning, generally on the light side, at times moderate, but the northern tier counties have not seen a lot of that. Vern Anderson is up in our traffic center. Vern, tell us a little bit about what you expect.
All right, Ed, we've been spending the last hour or so on the phones with a lot of different people from a lot of different regions. It varies from so far so good to play it safe. It's going to take a look in Berks County. That's where, as Melissa was saying, things have changed up a little bit lighter snowfall there. Talking to folks down there, they have a lot of things to deal with, but they've all been minor so far, minor accidents that have cleared relatively quickly. What we're hearing now in some of the scanner chatter is that there are vehicles that can't get through due to people parking in no parking zones. And I realize it's the week before Christmas, but one of the things that was also stressed to us talking to the police was there is the trickle-down effect. That's going to impact other people, bottlenecks, so on and so forth. And another interesting thing we heard on the scanner, remember, now that they're going to have to start dealing with snowier situations on the roads, the police have a lot of other things to deal with, including chasing 2 pit bulls in the parking lot of a Wawa. Going into Lehigh County, that's where we're going to take a look at how things are changing. This is really where the view is changing from our sky cams. This is 22 up by Shanersville Road. You can see people out there right now, but as you look at them getting onto the off-ramps, that's where they're becoming a little slicker, and those are the areas that you're going to want to watch this afternoon and into the evening. Those on and off ramps, the bridges, also take some precaution with you. Take some extra time. There's no need to rush at this point. The snow is coming down. The roads are well treated. Kind of made the rounds calling some of the police departments throughout our area, and so far we touched base with Whitehall, Northampton, Easton, Bethlehem, and Allentown. Recurring theme from just about everybody we talked to so far, so good. Looking up into Northampton County, I-78 at Morgan Hill, we're starting to see more and more snowfall up there. Some of the other areas in our region we've been keeping an eye on. 412 at I-78. We're going to keep an eye on I-78 throughout the afternoon and evening. So far, so good there. You can see the roads look a little slick, but people are getting by. We'll continue to monitor the situation. We'll keep you up to date on all of the latest information. Now back to you, Ed.
Vern, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Are we still Vern there? You're still there, Vern, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The pit bull in the Wawa parking lot, that wasn't your dog Killer, was it?
No, that's not my Jack Russell Terrier. Nice, mild, good dog, but no, not mine. Not mine.
Vern's got a cute little dog, but I didn't know if that was your dog. And your dog's not named Killer, right?
No, Bella. Nice, good dog. Very energetic. She can jump up to about here, but no, she's not loose to Wawa right now.
Right. Well, speaking of, interestingly enough, we've got some pictures, and I want to thank everybody. Well, there's no way we could get all the emails, pictures, but if you can submit your pictures, you go by going to WFMZ.com. Take a look at some of these pictures here. This is really cute. Pictures of Mackenzie, 3 years old, Gabriel, 2 years old. Thanks so much for sending it to us. This was sent by Caitlin in Ole. And of course, this is some of the best pictures too, when you see the little children playing in the snow. This next one says very fluffy snow, 3 inches as of 2:30. Dew points on the way, heavy snow. That was actually Fred Granowski. This picture, actually I can't find the email, but this is a dog in Easton, I remember. I can't remember the dog's name, but it says, waiting for the snow. Look at him. I mean, he's just hanging out, him or her, I should say. Got his little parka on there, just waiting. Well, guess what? you're going to be able to get on out there, because most parts of our area now, we are seeing snow that has overspread the area. Let me go back one more time and show you this Doppler radar. I want to be able to show you over the last 6 hours. See that break right there? That was indicative of this kind of energy being transferred to the coast. Now the storm taking over, going to be throwing moisture back our way, and so it's going to be kind of a classic coastal storm. We've been saying since 8 o'clock this morning, though, I've been telling you, we expect the heaviest snowfall from 2 or 3 this afternoon, and I think right on into it's about midnight tonight. And so we could see an inch an hour. It's like we've seen in places to our south, maybe 2 inches an hour in some locations. So that's something to be aware of. We're going to give you more details on this storm report and then kind of wrap things up. But again, inviting you to stay with us at the bottom of the hour at 2:30 and then every half hour. But at the top of the hours, that comprehensive report where you talk to our reporters and traffic reports. The bottom of the hours, the abbreviated. Let's talk to Amanda, who's standing by. You took over for Amanda Cox, taking over for Mark Shannenberger. You know, Amanda, it was amazing. It's good to see you, by the way. Mark was standing up there with no snow. I mean, all day. And I think it was a real good contrast. Melissa had the snow all morning long, a couple of inches there. And Mark was standing there just in the cold. But it was great to see that contrast. And I think it was actually a good thing, because not only did it help vendors and retailers in our area, because folks are seeing that they can get out, but also for folks that are watching at home, they say, hey, I can get out, not a lot going on. So I think this has ended up being a really good, hopefully a good service for our viewers. What do you got going up there? Snow is falling at this point, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like it's snowing, Ed. I do want to say real quick, you, Mark, and Melissa have done a great job this morning. I've been watching all morning, and I have really liked the coverage that we've seen. Now, I think there was conspiracy between you and Mark, because now it's snowing on me. Everybody else didn't see anything, so I think now I'm getting the brunt of the weather out here. But it is very cold. The snow is coming down. We still have a lot of traffic on the roadways. We're seeing travel pretty good as of right now. The roads are wet, and we are still seeing it pretty good. The traffic is flowing, but now the snow is starting to stick on the grassy areas, and that's going to quickly change over to the roadways, and we're going to have to continue to watch this as we head through the next couple of hours. I've been out here about 45 minutes, close to an hour, and the snow has really picked up, and it looks like it's going to hang on, and the visibility is becoming really diminished. If you take a look behind me, you can actually see, you can't really see the buildings in the background anymore. The snow has really taken over. That snow is actually making it a little bit more difficult to see, so you definitely want to be extra careful if you are going to be out and about, because this snow is going to continue to filter in. But you can see most of the roadways are wet right now. There is a little bit of that snow sticking on the grassy areas and also on the side streets and all of that. And so it is something you're definitely going to need to keep an eye on, because this is going to continue to filter in as we head through the rest of the afternoon. The snow is really going to start to get on the roadways. PennDOT has done a very good job of getting these streets well treated before the snow has actually come down, but now it's going to be trying to keep up with keeping the snow nice and easy on the roads and really keeping it out of here, keeping your travel really going. And it is something we're definitely going to need to watch over the next couple of hours, but it looks like the snow has moved in. It's really going to stick around, and it looks like I'm going to be stuck out here in the snow for a little bit longer. I wish I could have switched with Mark this morning, Ed.
Let me ask you a question, Amanda. Do you know what a babushka is?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, babushka is, it's kind of like I don't know, it's like a scarf that, women put over their heads. I think you need a babushka, something to kind of get over to cover up your head. You're going to get sick. We want to make sure do you have a hat or some kind of beanie?
Yes, I actually have some earmuffs on the way.
Oh, good. Excellent. You need something to cover up your head. So stay warm, get back in the live truck, and we'll talk to you in about an hour. For now, I want to tell you what to expect here as we go throughout the afternoon hours here. Snow now has overspread almost the entire viewing area, if it hasn't already started where you are. It just took a little longer getting in some locations. But the heaviest snow, as we said, we expect to fall. But yeah, between now, let's say 3 o'clock and midnight, 1 o'clock. But here's the thing. You saw Amanda's hair blowing. That's indicative of the fact that this storm, now that it's off the coast, is going to deepen. It's going to intensify. And it's what we call in the upper levels of the atmosphere a trough becomes negatively tilted. I don't want to get overly technical, but that means that the storm is going to deepen and intensify. That will tighten the pressure gradient, and we're going to be talking about winds picking up. I know it's been windy all day, and the thing is that once we get past midnight or 1 a.m., I'm thinking that the storm starts to diminish. Doesn't mean we're not going to see still some snow, but the heavy accumulating snows, like of the 1 inch per hour, which I think that's what we're going to get into for a while, that's going to start to wind down and start to taper off. As far as what we are expecting here now, we continue to watch this very carefully, and we're going to continue to kind of massage this map. So we've been saying 3 to 6 inches to the northern tier counties. We have moved this line up a little bit. That's the 6-inch line up a tiny bit to the north. Even though we weren't seeing a whole lot here, what we're seeing in places like Dover, or where it's snowing 1 inch an hour, we're going to get into a period where 6 to 8, 6 to 9 hours where we could see 1 inch per hour or more. And I think that's why we've kind of made that 6-inch line a little bit higher. Other than that, we could see some areas that certainly could get more than that, 15 to 18 locally, especially Philly suburbs, all the way down to Washington, D.C., could see certainly some higher amounts. We're going to keep you posted on this and updating that. Email us, go over to WFMZ.com, let us know what you're getting in your backyard as the snow starts to accumulate. We'd like to know. It's going to be hard to get an active or an accurate measurement. Keep that in mind as well. Try to take 4 locations that's been not affected by the wind, which is going to be hard because the wind's going to be a big factor. We're going to see blowing and drifting snow. But if you can get 4 areas that's hopefully buffered by trees, get 4 measurements, add it together, divide it by 4. That should be a good estimate. And as that comes in, we'll be getting those totals on the air. And of course, pictures. You've got weather pictures. You can again click on WFMZ.com, click on weather, and there's a little button on the side that says send your weather pictures to Ed, and we'll keep you posted. Why are we doing all of this again? For you, to make sure you have not only the freshest weather information, but this being the Saturday before Christmas, we want you to have all the information to see with your own eyes what to expect out there on the roadways, so that you can make an informed decision on whether to go out and when to go out and all of that. We want you to be safe and get through this Christmas and holiday and New Year season very healthy. So we wish you the best. Hope you're enjoying your holiday season. We'll give you updates again every half hour. Top of the hour, there will be the comprehensive report. Bottom of the hour, abbreviated version. Then 69 News starts at 6 o'clock. So we'll be doing that until, leading you right up to 6 o'clock news. And in the meantime, I hope you're doing well. Keep in touch, WFMZ.com. We'll see you in a bit.
And forget about the 30-day money-back guarantee, because guess what?
Top of the afternoon to you. I want to thank you so much. Those of you very loyal viewers staying with us. We started at 8 o'clock this morning. Of course, prior to that, we were on the AccuWeather channel. But I just want to thank you all. Top of the hour, bottom of the hour, since 8 this morning, bringing you the very latest. And it was really good, I think, that we had, very interesting, 2 reporters. We had one in Reading, one out in MacArthur Road out by the Lehigh Valley Mall, and to see the contrast, because the snow started falling as early as 5, 6 a.m. in the southern tier counties, Berks, Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, Philadelphia, Newcastle, in some cases picking up 2, 3, 4 inches of snow pretty quickly throughout the morning. Although it was generally light to moderate snow, the northern tier counties, the dry air just hung in there, and it took a while. The Virga was showing up on the Doppler radar. That is, it looks like it's snowing on the radar, but it was evaporating before it hit the ground, and so it took several hours of that to occur before the atmosphere got moistened up enough before the snow could actually fall and make it to the ground. That's where we are right now. Snow has now overspread the entire area. You're looking at our new HD computer, and this is a very small sample of what's to come here over the next several weeks. Some nice surprises I think you're going to like very, very much about some of the new graphics that we've got in store. But either way you look at it, temperatures throughout the region, they're very chilly, and I mean cold. Oftentimes when you deal with snow, you can be dealing with, of course, any temperature, but remember, snow is temperature dependent. Oftentimes people think, and they say, 1 inch of liquid or 1 inch of rain equals 10 inches of snow. It just depends. If the temperature is 34, 35 degrees, you could be talking about 1 inch of rain, maybe 2 inches of very wet, slushy snow. If it's like 10 degrees, 1 inch of rain or liquid could equal maybe 30 inches of snow. So it's temperature dependent. That's what we're dealing right now with some pretty cold temperatures as far as the snow is concerned. I'll talk a little bit about as far as where their temperatures are here at the studio. 22 dew point finally took that jump. You know, if you've been with me and you've been watching, that dew point here, at least in parts of the Lehigh Valley, was 2 below, 4 below, 0. And I mean, that's the temperature at which condensation occurs. So this moisture had so much, you know, dry air to fight before we started to see the snow fall, and now it is falling indeed. We watched this storm develop starting 4 or 5 days ago. I was talking to you about it. It was this little batch of very heavy rain over Texas. I was telling you it was going to go over the southeast states. Indeed, it did. And now take a look at it. I mean, it is a massive storm that just continues to affect the mid-Atlantic and now moving into the northeastern part of the United States. And it's a major winter storm, and we're not done. In fact, starting 8 o'clock this morning, I hope you've been with us. I've been telling you all day long that the heaviest snow is just getting underway now. We expect it to fall between now and, like, I think midnight. So for the next 6 to 9 hours, I anticipate that we'll be talking about snow at varying rates. Opportunity for maybe an inch of snow per hour in some cases, and that's why I say varying rates. Sometimes it could come down even harder than that. So we expect it to really start to accumulate now as this transition of the main storm has now transferred off. Secondary low has formed off the coast. That's now taken over as pressures have dropped off the Carolina coast. That storm will continue to curl up, throwing moisture back, and now we are absolutely seeing this moisture fill in to the south, and so there's a lot of moisture to go through here as we go through the next several hours. So if you're heading out, I want to just out in the roadways, I want to really encourage you to use extreme caution. And we didn't want to hold anything back. We wanted to give you the full, complete coverage, as we always would with any type of storm. But normally it would be me or one of my team of meteorologists giving you a full report. But we wanted to go beyond that. This being the Saturday before Christmas, we have reporters out there, traffic reports, live. So you can see, get all the information, and then you decide what you want to do. Of course, retailers are very happy, the northern tier counties, that they could go out. People could go out and shop. We had several hours this morning, and that was a good thing that the snow held off. Not so the case anymore. Things are rapidly changing. Let's go off to Exeter Township at the Exeter Commons. Melissa Fullerton is standing by. Hopefully you got, but first question, did you get the Cobb salad?
You know what? I went for the chicken wrap,
okay,
but I got the soup.
Did you get the French onion soup? Good.
It was very good, very good. And holy moly, Ed, you know, what a difference an hour has made out here. When we talked to you in the last hour, I said it had died down a little bit. It was probably the lightest we've seen. Well, it's back, and we are back in the thick of things. In fact, if you remember, we were talking about 422, which is right here behind me in the last hour. And at that point, it just seemed kind of wet. We've gone through, like, the stages of wet to slush, and then it was back to wet at 2 o'clock. Well, if you take a look at 422 here behind me, we are back to slush. In fact, just about a minute ago, the plow came through, so they are working on these main roads. But again, you're going to want to take extreme caution if you're out here. And I want to swing you around and show you. Behind me, there's a hill behind the Exeter Commons Shopping Center over here. And all day we've been able to see those trees pretty clearly despite the snow. Now they're kind of just gray shadows of themselves with this snowstorm or this wave of snow, I guess we should say, that's since moved in. So it looks like visibility is kind of dwindling out here. As far as shoppers, they don't appear to be dwindling. The parking lots are still full, and in that last hour when we saw a little bit of a lull in the snow, it seems like more people were coming out. In fact, Red Robin here, they didn't have many people at their restaurant for quite some time. They weren't open this morning, obviously, but then around lunch it was a little slow. It started to pick up. People are still coming out. The roads seem to be clear. I'm looking at 422 now. And people are still moving. The traffic is still moving at a pretty decent pace. But we were talking earlier, the Exeter Township police were saying that 422 is in pretty decent shape. They had the brine on it yesterday. They've had the plows down. They've been treating it all day. But it's those secondary roads that you have to look out for. And they said, even more surprising, it's the parking lots that you have to look out for. They said they've been dealing with a lot of accidents in parking lots. And that's just a nuisance that you don't want to have to deal with if you're coming out today. And you also mentioned the cold, and it is very cold out here. Sometimes, you know, we go through those really cold snaps, and then you get some snow, and it seems a little warmer. But today it does feel cold. So if you're coming out, you're going to want to bundle up, and it's a very wet snow. So it's definitely soaking in. So if you are going out, it's probably not a bad idea to have something extra in your car just in case something would happen. That's another thing police were mentioning, is the fact that they are very busy today. There are a lot of accidents, fender benders. Thankfully, we haven't heard any reports of anything major, but it does take them a little while to get to you. They're driving cars just like you're driving cars, so they can't speed to you the way they normally would. Also, they have a lot of other things going on with other accidents. So if you are going out, just prepare. Dress warmly, put something warm in your car. We've been out here all morning, so we've had some time to kind of cruise the internet. And one of the reminders I saw out there is think about your pets. If you have a pet and you are in this weather today, bring them inside. It is very cold for animals, and they say this can be a deadly cold for animals. So that's pretty much the latest here at Exeter Commons. Just a lot of snow. It is starting to get heavy again, so if you're heading out, just be careful and bundle up. Ed?
See you again at 4 o'clock. I thank you so much for hanging in there with us throughout the course of the day, doing a great job. You've been here since 8 o'clock as well. And here's the thing I want to build on what Melissa said is, of course, I have to tell you, as we see it here and what we anticipate, and we've been telling you all day, you know, if you're going to go out, get on out there, do your shopping and your business, because as we get into the afternoon, things will deteriorate. Well, we're there. We're at that point where things now are going to deteriorate, and I don't see, based on what I'm looking at on the Doppler radar, I don't see, in fact, let me loop this so you can get some sense here. I don't see anything whatsoever that would give me any indication that that anything's going to let up. In fact, the contrary. I see the Doppler radar, and I see that, you know, the darker shades of blue are moving in, and from here all the way south to the back edge of that storm, which I don't anticipate to get up here until maybe midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and even after that, a little bit of lingering snow. But the accumulating snow will continue now, and at times ½ inch to 1 inch an hour, possibly heavier than that. So it's only going to deteriorate. So something to be aware of. I'm not trying to alarm anybody, because I know folks that have waited, you know, you need to get out. In some cases, you just need to allow a lot of extra time and be aware as we go through the evening now that the conditions on the roads will deteriorate. Now, speaking of roads, again, normally we give you traffic reports always, as you know, during the week, but we brought Vern Anderson in, who does a lot here at the station. He wears a lot of hats. He's the voice of the Freddie Awards. I'm so happy that he came on in, and he's providing our traffic reports, doing a great job, but he's constantly on the phone in between our reports, talking to police and boroughs. And Vern, you've got lots of information. Let's pass it along.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. We have been pretty busy on the phones, and what Ed was saying earlier is we want to be cautious when you go out. You don't really want to rush things, but right now I think the best thing I heard for the Lehigh Valley area is they're saying 22 so far is clear and wet, but it's clear. They've had a couple accidents on it, but really nothing that's impeded the flow of traffic, so people can get from point A to point B. What we want to do is kind of give you a round robin of the Lehigh Valley and Berks County now. We'll take a look at some of our sky cams. You can see 222 at Cedar Crest Boulevard. One of the things the state police are starting to tell us they're becoming more concerned about, and this is typically the case, are those bridges and on-ramps. You can kind of see it starting to accumulate on the road a little bit more, especially here at 309 and Tillman Street. That bridge right there is starting to pack up a little bit more. As we move throughout the valley, so far so good is what the state police in Fogelsville were telling us. They're not seeing any huge problems, just the typical anticipation. They're seeing some of the traffic volume slow down just a little bit. We did touch base with the Lehigh and Northampton County Communications Office. They're reporting no road closures so far, but as always, that could change as the evening goes on, and we will keep you posted with that information. As you move into the Bethlehem area here, Route 222 and Shanersville Road, we were hearing some reports, and you can see it there. That off-ramp is getting a little tricky for commuters as they're either heading home or heading to their shopping destination or family destination this afternoon. Just take it easy when you're out there. As we head a little bit farther north, not quite as bad. Route 22 at 191. Things moving along well there, but you can see a little bit less accumulation as we move farther into Northampton County. Farther into Easton, 22 4th Street. What we're hearing in the Easton area is a little bit more chatter of some fender benders on the hills. And really, right now, the side streets are the concern. What we were telling you about there was that they want to keep 22 in good shape, but really be careful on the side streets. One thing we want to point out, too, is we're hearing reports of more people being towed. Some snow emergency plans are in effect. Starting to hear a few more tow trucks getting called. So you want to be careful. Keep up to date. Check out our website at WFMZ.com or the very bottom of your screen. to see what the situation is in your area. I can tell you within the last hour, Cumru Township in Berks County has activated their snow emergency. East Allen Township in Northampton County, Hereford Township in Berks County, and Wilson in Northampton County all activating snow emergencies within the last few minutes. And of course, that is going to keep changing. So just stay with us. We'll have the information for you. In Berks County, also hearing it has been very busy down there. The Warren Street bypass earlier today had a string of fender benders. All of them had cleared when we spoke to the police in that area just a few minutes ago. But of course, as they said, they're waiting for the second wave. And we will be here to keep you posted throughout the afternoon. Now back to Ed in the Weather Center.
Yeah, let's get off to the Galileo. Well, before we do the Galileo computer, I want to be able to take you off here. Amanda Cox, Mark Shannenberger, one of our meteorologists, was in here during the overnight hours, giving you updates on the AccuWeather channel, and then he shot out to 7th Street MacArthur Road in Whitehall, and just across from the Lehigh Valley Mall, and he was giving us live reports 8 o'clock right on through until I believe 1:30, and Amanda Cox went out and she kind of took over. They did a bit of a tag team, and Mark, his last report was supposed to be at 1, came on at 1:30. He said, it's finally snowing here. It just took so darn long for some of that snow to actually get into. It was snowing to the west, to the east, to the south. Just took so long to get into some parts of the Lehigh Valley, but once it arrived, it's now coming down at a pretty good clip. Amanda's now out there, meteorologist for our weekend. Amanda, how you doing out there? How are things going?
Well, it's pretty good. Look at this, Ed. I have my earmuffs. So
there you go. Very good. I'm glad to see
either way, either way, though, it is still very cold out here. So just make sure if you are going to be out, bundle up because it is very, very cold out. We have 2 issues going on right now. The snow is coming down much heavier over the last 2 hours, and it's continued to pick up, and it looks like it's going to stay that way as we head through the next couple of hours and into the overnight. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on this as we head through the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. With this snowfall coming down, it's actually causing for some slick spots on the roadways. So you do want to add for some extra time to get to the places that you need to go. If you take a look at MacArthur Road, you can see it's sticking on the roadways now. A lot of this is really sticking on the edges. Most of the middle areas of the streets are still pretty good, slow going though, but the roads have been treated fairly well. You can see still a lot of traffic as it's moving across here. People are out fighting the elements, trying to get some of their Christmas shopping done. But it is something, if you are going to be out and about, make sure to be extra careful. Allow for some extra time to get to the places that you know need to go, because these roads are going to continue to deteriorate as we head through the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours as the snow continues to come down. The second big story is the winds. The winds are actually causing a lot of problem with the snow. You can see it's actually coming down horizontal, and that's actually causing for some visibility problems. So not only are you going to have to deal with some slick roadways, but you're also going to have to deal with low visibility when you are driving. So once again, just be extra careful if you are going to be out and about. Like Melissa said, also bring those pets in because it is so cold out here. You add those winds into it, and that's where we can see some very hazardous conditions to pets as well. You know, if you think it's cold, they're also going to think it's really cold. They do have fur, but you have the coat, so you definitely want to make sure that those animals are very, very taken care of. Bring them in. If they're normally outdoors, put them in the garage where it can be nice and warm and they're not out in these elements, because as the snow comes down, it's going to continue to be very cold. Once we get into the evening and overnight hours, the temperatures are going to drop slightly as well, and it's going to make it even worse. But just be extra careful if you are going to be out and about, because we have 2 major issues that we're dealing with: roads becoming very slick and also visibility diminishing. So we're definitely going to need to stick with this. We are going to continue to watch this as we head through the rest of the evening and overnight hours, and we do want to thank everybody for sticking with us. But let's head back into Ed, because it's very cold out here.
Yeah, I know. You look cold, and just in that very short period of time, your eyebrows, your hair, and your coat, you're getting all white. So get inside the live truck, get warm, and we'll see you in about an hour. Of course, inviting everybody to stay with us, and I appreciate you do staying with us since 8 o'clock this morning, giving you these reports at the top of the hour, comprehensive report with the reporters and traffic, and then bottom of the hour, we're going to give you abbreviated updates. That's going to continue till 5 o'clock, including 5 o'clock, and then, of course, 69 News at 6 o'clock. Now, real quick recap: snow expected varying rates, sometimes heavy and between now and about midnight, 1 o'clock. But the wind's going to be a factor. 20, 30 mile an hour. Gusts could exceed 40 as that storm intensifies off the eastern seaboard. I suspect once we get past midnight, 1 a.m., it looks like we'll still see some snow, but the heaviest accumulating snow should start to move away. That's why we'll be here giving you updates, of course, during our newscast and on the AccuWeather channel, as always. Total amounts, well, obviously, that 6-inch line we've tweaked a little bit. It looks like it's now through the northern part of Berks, northern parts of the Lehigh Valley. South of that line could see greater amounts, 6 to as much as 12, depending on where you happen to be in the viewing area. North of that line, of course, 6 along the 6-inch line or less. As you get further north, of course, you're going to see lesser amounts. That's what we're anticipating. Locally, it's possible that we could see some locations, especially south and east, closer to 15 to 18 inches. So no question about it, a major storm as that area of low pressure just continues to wind up and lift up and away from the area. Again, we'll see in just a little bit with a kind of a recap. Got to keep an eye on this Doppler radar, but I see every indication, looking at the Doppler, that this snow is just going to continue to pick up in intensity and continue here for several hours, at least until I'd say midnight at varying rates, and then at that which point we should taper off. But certainly conditions with the cold air are going to deteriorate.